2. Ba-ba. That song gets me so hyped. All right, welcome in, everybody. My name is Jesse, and this is the Eagles Plus show. I'm sitting here with two of my good pals named G Rich and Dual Threat. Boys, how you guys doing today?
I'm doing
Anybody?
great. I'm doing great.
Heck yeah.
You know?
Good to hear. Good to hear. Happy New Year, boys. First show of the new year. Welcome.
Alright.
It's good to be here. Glad to start off the new year right with you guys, and I wish the Eagles could end the year last year on a better note, but that's what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll start it on a high note, maybe beat Washington. But first,
Don't want that.
Not with this injury.
Let's not do this.
Not with this injury list, and
No,
not
this
with.
injury.
I don't know how much it's taken into account that it's a meaningless game too. Like I'm sure some of them might be good to go. Like if it really mattered.
Right, exactly. But before we actually hop into this, I would actually love to get you guys' mind piece because it is New Year's Day. That means we do have plenty of college football to talk about. I mean, you know, we did see a nice game earlier today with Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys watched the game with Georgia. No, but it's all good. Pretty good game. And then right now we got Alabama playing Notre Dame. I think Alabama's killing them. And then later tonight we got Clemson and Ohio State, which also be a good one. So I was going to ask, I mean, do you guys care about college football at all? Are you guys paying attention to this?
I'm paying attention more to like Devontae Smith and
Who's having a game right now?
Yeah.
Right. More watching for the draft picks, you know. I totally get that. Yeah, but plenty of draft picks go around, especially if we do get a top 5 pick. Plenty of those Alabama kids will be in there. But anyway, so since we got that out of the way, that is going on. Hopefully that'll be.
Hey, we got our boy Tyler Steege. What's good? Shout out to him and Eagles Brawl over on that side. Devontae Smith has been going crazy.
Yeah, he's especially been going crazy from what I last saw before I got up here before halftime.
But 4 catches, 93 yards, and 2 TDs.
It's ridiculous.
He puts up some Madden rookie numbers.
For real. All right, so we got more people joining in. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Eagles Plus show. We're live. So anyway, going on from college football, let's get into this Dallas game. This absolute heartbreaker that we had to experience, unfortunately, this past Sunday. So, Dual Threat, I mean, I don't know. I know we lost the Eagles, but you must be pretty happy. You know, our draft position.
No, never happy to lose to Dallas.
That's okay. That's fair.
It's a fortunate consequence to all the pain that we had to suffer this week listening to Dallas fans.
He said a fortunate consequence.
Unfortunate consequence in which, yes, we did lose, but we are in a better draft position. We do have a chance to even get into top 5 after Sunday to see what happens.
If we win, we fear we might drop back to 10, I think, right? Wasn't that what it was?
It's
not as desirable.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to say we might be in tank mode, I hate that word, but it appears that after this practice that they might be in tank mode. But we'll get into that later on the show. Let's get back to the Cowboys game. So what seems as such a promising first half, Jalen Hurts is on a roll. We're driving down the field. I mean, after 2 drives, we're already up 14-0, and I think going in after that, I thought, oh, we got this. This isn't a problem, you know. And then Dallas starts moving, and everything that we talked about last week, such as being able to contain Pollard, which we contained Tony Pollard actually pretty well. I don't know if you guys knew that, but just as we thought when we locked down Tony Pollard, the other guy who's actually pretty good still, I guess,
Who called that out? Who called that out?
I don't know, some weird
Some
guy.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think a guy called in the show one time or a commentator. But I'm just kidding. But yes, Rich, you were right. So Zeke, 105 rush yards and along with 34 pass yards on top of that. He's just seemed unstoppable at times. And a lot of times Brandon Graham would or somebody would get back behind the line of scrimmage and wrap him up. But then next thing you know, Zeke is tucking in the ball. He busts through. And then he's going for 10 yards, and he's got the first down. And I thought that was one very, very frustrating part of the game. And then the other thing that we talked about last week is the receivers. Who are we going to cover? And that was obviously a very, very, very big issue. We didn't cover Gallup. That was very obvious. And even if we did, there was still CeeDee Lamb, and there's still Amari Cooper. But before I get on, what do you guys think was the main bullet in the foot for the Eagles on Sunday?
Probably losing Fletch. It just felt like everything went downhill defensively at that point.
I felt like media steered it. As soon as that happened, I just felt the vibe from the announcers to how the game was flowing. I was like, we're really going to go downhill now, aren't we? Without him.
Right.
He's on the sidelines. His pads are off. He's over here yelling at the other D linemen because they're not obviously producing like he would. So it's definitely took a toll on the game.
Definitely.
And Michael Jacquet was a huge liability all game.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, not again. That was surprising to me because he showed. I mean, he was stepping up against like D-Hop a little bit here and there. I mean, I didn't think he was going to be put on skates that hard all game. I mean, Amari Cooper made it look like a child was sitting there trying to guard him.
Yeah, he's a really good route runner, and he proved it.
I was going to say he made him look like Bradley Fletcher out there. It was pretty bad. It was really bad. Like, and I mean, I don't even really know who this guy is. You know, he came off the practice squad. He's like a 4-stringer cornerback. I get it. But that's just like, ooh, I don't know if he's going to play another game after. I mean, I guess he'll probably play some more snaps on Sunday because we don't really have anybody left to play on defense versus Washington. But that was just embarrassing. I mean, the one positive part I can say about our defense is Darius Slay, and just because he was back and he had the pick. And he put us back into the game, which was a great catch and run, I thought. And it was supposed to put us back in the game, but then obviously that didn't come through.
Nobody capitalized on that.
Nobody capitalized on that. But something that we were all excited for as well was Deshaun Jackson. He made his return. Heck yeah. Only for a play.
Yeah.
Literally, quite just for one play and for one play for 81 yards.
And it's in the score.
Yeah, the score. Yeah, and I guess that's all you can ask for from Deshaun Jackson nowadays. It's like, hey, just run up the field 50 yards and maybe I'll chuck it up to you. And what do you know? The play was almost broken. Jalen Hurts made it work. He rolled out to his right and he planted his feet. It just seemed like a chuck. Hopefully this works, and it did. And I think he got very lucky. And I think dual threat. You actually did point this out a couple shows ago that Jalen Hurts, his choice making can be kind of off.
Yeah,
here.
It's hero ball in the whole organizations. Everybody in the organization plays hero ball. Which now I'm concerned, is that really a QB fault or is it coached?
Right.
Like, extend the play, keep going.
You got to ask yourself that question at this point, the way it's looking. I mean, everybody put the blame on Wentz and thought that Hurts was this magical savior that was going to step in and take over the team and win every game. And Wentz was just awful. But statistically, I mean,
they look about the same.
They don't look too far off from each other. So, I mean, our passing offense efficiency was still at a pretty all-time low compared to our previous year. So
we're still only putting up 15 to 20 points a game. I mean, besides, I guess, Arizona.
I was way off on my prediction, too.
Yeah, same.
I was like, oh, I'm all optimistic. We're gonna bring our team up and get 30 points
Oh, we
for
were
the
talking,
first time
we were
this
talking about
season.
predictions. I called that we were going to die on defense.
You
did.
did. You did
Because
call that.
You did. And it's something we should have listened. Dual threat. I'm so sorry.
Our apologies.
I had zero faith in this defense.
And rightfully
Yeah.
so. I think that they proved you right. And it's just really just sad to say because it's just like this is a game that we should have had. And it really sucks that it was as bad as a spread as it was because it really shouldn't have been a 20-point game at all. I mean, so one giant note I need to make is penalties, and more penalties. This team could not stop stabbing themselves. They couldn't stop shooting themselves in the foot. Whatever masochist term you want to use for self-harm, the Eagles were doing it. And it was just so frustrating because it's 1st and 10. All right, good run play. Oh, it's a holding. Okay, we got to bring it back 10 yards. All right, and then there was one play which really got me frustrated was a really nice-looking screen to Miles Sanders.
Oh,
Great setup. The blockers were there. He had at least 4 people in front of him, and he had like 20 yards of open field, ready to go. Stop the play. False start. 10 yards backward, 5 yards backwards. And I'm like, what is going on? What is this? What am I seeing? What is this undisciplined trash that I'm watching on my screen right now? It's as a fan, it's frustrating, but as a coach, I can't even imagine what's going through the thought of Doug Peterson because I know he has his game plan. He's ready to go.
Right.
But his execution is just so bad. But there is some film out there, which you can argue, that I saw that there maybe it was a theory that Jason Kelsey was off on the snap count and he wasn't snapping the ball on time, which I don't know, maybe, but that doesn't seem much like a center ball. But I'm not much experience on the offensive line. So what do you guys think about that theory?
I mean, it was kind of a cumulative issue from what I saw. I mean, I was seeing a lot of different people jumping off. Like I saw Matt Pryor like I think 2 or 3 times, but I would try to guess who it is because it was just happening so often, and
Right.
It was always someone like else. It didn't make any sense, and then they would shoot close-ups on the offensive lineman or whoever jumped off sides, and they were just at awe that they got called for a false start penalty. And it was just a big shit show.
Right. And I did feel that there was a couple of false starts where like they probably could have given them a little bit of leeway. Like they might have jumped like 0.2 milliseconds like too soon. But they would flag him for it. And it's like, all right, I get it. If I saw Dallas jumping like that 0.3 millisecond early, I'll be false start. Screw it. Send him back 5 yards. But it seemed like more than half of these penalties came from the offense. Like maybe there was a couple of pass interferences. I can't really remember. I try not to remember this game that well. But it's the offense, it's just. I'll say it again. It's frustrating as a fan because I know we could have scored way more than 17 points, and the penalties killed us. But besides that, also to do with the refs, we need to talk about the command center and the reviewing and the 2 plays that we had reviewed and went into Dallas's favor. So the first play, which we'll talk about, we actually came first in the game, was the I believe Zach Ertz non-catch. Very strong quotations here, because it was a very nice throw, very nice catch. Zach Ertz, he toe taps both feet. It seemed pretty clearly. I think you can even see the black, what's it called, the black specks. From the turf. It comes up. It's one of the easiest ways to tell in football that he's in bounds. They look at it for a whole 3 minutes, and they conclude that he was not in bounds. And I'm just like, that's a worse call than the non-clear recovery call from 2 years ago.
That was a bad one. That was a
that was a really bad one. I hate to talk about that one too because it's always for Dallas.
against Dallas.
It's always against Dallas, and it always screws us over, and we always end up losing, and it's always because of that. Always. I hate to be that guy, but
there is always something.
It's always something.
It's always
And the second one, and the second review, I maybe you could argue was a little bit worse, but I would say that the call was a lot closer and harder to make for maybe. But so Jalen Hurts runs down the field, 25-yard gain. He's holding the ball kind of loosely down here. He's sliding on both his knees. Emphasis on both of his knees. And the ball pops out. Fumble. Dallas ball. I don't know. Did you guys think that call was like close? Do you think it's like super obvious one way or the other?
No, it was just a bad call. Per usual.
Per usual.
I thought you said it was close enough.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
But anyways, I'll touch. Yeah, I thought it was pretty terrible. I mean, that's the second command center reviewed call
in the same
day.
The
command center, they'll go up to him and he'll always, or it seems that always go back in our favor in his mind, and then the rest on the field were just like, no, like
no.
I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's like against Dallas too. Like it seems that way. Like for those big calls. I mean, the Zach Ertz one, it wasn't like it mattered, but it wasn't like
the end of the world.
The biggest play of the entire game. It's not like the fumble recovery, obviously, as Eagles fans, like anybody will tell you. That clear recovery bullshit. And then
I think it was our ball.
Yeah. I mean, like when your last view of the ball is Camus, like leaning over the ball, and then everyone. But not just him. Not just him, but there's not a single Cowboy near him. And we came out of it with the ball. Didn't we?
Yes. The three players on top of the ball. We come out with the ball. It's no clear recovery, but that's why I said you could argue it's worse. But
yeah,
that one was pretty bad.
And that was right in their territory, in their red zone. I mean, all right, we're not going to touch on that. It's not all about that game, but
it's not
definitely a frustrating topic.
It's almost the same thing. It's like it's a fumble, and it's like it was clear. I thought he was clearly down, and he was going to be at like the 15-yard line. It was cool, Jesse. All right, he was going to be at the 15-yard line. We were going to score, and we were supposed to be back in it. But you know, what it could have, should have. It is what it is. So I guess another interesting thing, and we actually do have footage from it, thanks to a special guy named Thomas Peterson on Twitter. So this is going to be the Jalen Hurts controversy, dirty hit. I guess, G-Rich, if you want to roll the tape, we can see what led up to it.
First play we saw Jordan Mailata going up against Jalen Smith was on this QB power where he'll be pulling to the other side right here. So Mailata will make the initial contact, and then Mailata will come in here and finish him up, push him to the ground about 5 yards downfield, and then take on a guy in the secondary. Power QB read, and you have Jordan Mailata coming in right here, and he will be the lead blocker in the A gap, taking on Jalen Smith, pushing him back 5 yards once again to get Miles Sanders in for the score. This time we're faking the QB power with Seumalo and Mailata. They'll be coming out here, pulling once again, but we're going to hand it off to Miles Sanders this time, and you're going to see Mailata come out here once again up on Jalen Smith. Boom. Then you have this stupid fucking play by Jalen Smith because he's getting beat all game. And it's an outside power with the QB read. So he's going to read up at the defensive end when he's staying still. So he's going to give the ball to Miles Sanders in space. And at this point, Jalen Smith knows that Miles is right here. So he's already beaten him. He's way downfield than him. So he has to flip his hips, take a good rush, a good angle to actually catch up on Miles Sanders when he gets slowed down by his teammates. Instead, he's just going to launch his head into Jordan Mailata's face and then spin. Idiot.
Wow. Interesting.
Idiot.
So basically,
I think that idiot at the end sums up the
Yeah, just all of our frustrations
All of
and
our
everything.
frustration.
But so basically, to explain, if you guys missed it, the entire game, Jalen Smith was just being done dirty. Well, not done dirty, but he was getting wrecked by Jordan Mailata. All of 4 quarters. I know the score was, probably didn't show it, but Jordan Mailata was making Jalen Smith his little bitch. And so as you see, after all those very nice blocks, clean blocks, very good football play. Jalen Smith gets very frustrated, and one of the plays turns his shoulder and essentially just nails Jordan Mailata in the face. Look, as an Eagles fan, you just gotta expect this from Dallas games, right? We play these guys twice a year. Yeah, it's always a bunch of chirping, no matter how bad we are. We could be the worst team in the league. They could be, in first place, and it's always going to be an insane battle. And a lot of times, hands are thrown, and it's just the way it is. In this case, it's not hands being thrown or anything like that, but it's something that should be evaluated and maybe punishable. That's my biased opinion. I'm an Eagles fan. I thought the play was dirty, but I don't know. How about you guys?
I thought it was pretty dirty myself. I mean, he's clearly upfield. That video by Thomas, it definitely proves the point a little bit. Yeah. I thought maybe he could have got tied up, but I mean, Jalen Smith is a pretty known linebacker. He's not his awareness is not that low. Like,
right,
he knew where the ball carrier was, and if or maybe on the other side, if you want to shed some optimism, he might have been getting pushed around so often that he saw him and he was like, "I'm not going to let you push me around this time," and was just going into kind of set his feet on him a little. And obviously, you're not going to push Jordan Mailata down like that.
Yeah, he's like a 300-pound former rugby player. I can only imagine getting rocked again by the same person over and over and over again. But yeah, it's just a very interesting subject. It's like I don't know. They're probably not going to get any punishments, but if you look back, I guess it's kind of very bang bang. It kind of happens all at one time. Yes, you can slow it down and be like, he didn't have a chance to play, didn't have a chance to tackle. So what's the point of throwing his shoulder? But like you just said, Giro, I mean, if I'm getting pushed around the whole game, I'm gonna want to lay a shoulder to you really quick, I guess. But
coming from a football player myself, if I've had somebody just humbling me all game, you're gonna embrace her. I mean, that's just just pure football thought right there.
Exactly. So maybe we're not going to see a whole lot of come out of this. This is probably going to be the only thing, and we'll keep yapping about it to Cowboys fans as long as possible. But but dual threat. How about you, man? What did you think?
I don't know where his head was at, really. He could have avoided it. He could have did a lot of things different, and he decided to go to spear a man's head off. So,
yeah, I guess not the best choice to make.
If I had to say like any punishments from an Eagles fan point of view, I think the referees that have been fucking us in these past few games, like,
they need to be fined.
I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of it though. And it's usually the last game of the season too. It seems that way because it was like week 17 for the fumble too. I remember when I was watching that game. That it was just
right.
I remember where I was watching that game, and I knew that we had a good chance to win that game. And I was really confused after I watched that play. Like, how?
Yeah, I think everyone knows where they were when that game happened. I was in Miami in an outhouse, and I was very mad. But but if that's just how it is with Eagles and Dallas, it's the last game, and they're America's team, and the people want to see the Cowboys win, I guess, and so they sometimes just gotta give them a little bit of leeway. But
when's the last time we fought the Cowboys?
It wasn't that long ago. It was what week?
Was it 2017?
When's the last time we lost to the Cowboys, right? Or beat
No.
the Cowboys?
No, last time we swept them.
Swept them.
Oh,
No, not
Yeah.
even 2017. 2017, they beat us week 17.
yeah, because we like tanked week
Oh, yeah.
17. I went to that game.
It was 6-0 final score.
This face says it all. Like all season, we've been kicking ass. My dad goes, "I got you tickets to the Eagles Dallas game." Flies me up to Philly. We go to the game, and I find out like all our starters are sitting, and we're not even trying. And we only lost 6-0 too. So, like that.
That's amazing.
How
What-
dreadful can that be? I was standing in like 2-degree weather all game. Just saying.
Just to
Merry
watch that.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Oh gosh. But yeah, that was it's actually a good question. I don't remember the last time.
I don't think we're allowed to beat them twice.
I don't think I don't it's been a very, very long time. I think the series is usually tied like most years. Except for maybe when we were like 4-12. They probably swept us back then. But
while we're on the topic, though, I wanted to say that we're also not going to have a repeat NFC's champion once again because we got knocked out.
right. Wow.
Once again, it might not be Dallas this time, but and I might lose that bet, by the way, too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be any of these three. You know what's really depressing is seeing the graphics for like the percent chances of winning the division, and so it says like Washington like 70 something, Dallas like 60 or 50, and then New York is like 30, Eagles 0, and and I'm like, why'd you even put us on the TV? why are we
Just
even there?
to mess with us. Just
Like,
to mess with us.
Just a giant, just like F you to like all Eagles fans everywhere, and I'm just like, thanks, man. I appreciate
I went
that.
into the mentions on that tweet just to see because I already knew. Like, I mean, that makes 0 sense to put somebody on a graphic for their percent chances when they have no chances. Like,
Zero. Like, oh gosh, wait.
maybe there's like a decimal choice or decimal chance that they're not telling us about.
They all lose out, and someone gets COVID, and then they literally just have to give it to us. that 2.2% chance. Oh gosh. But I guess speaking of, I mean, since we're about halfway through the show, I think we can forget about our sadness that happened in Arlington now, or try to cope with it. So let's move on. Let's move on to the last home game of the season, first game of 2021. And it's versus the Washington football team, and Washington is looking to win the division, and we're not looking to do anything except for
Screw Dallas. Screw Dallas mode.
Screw Dallas and screw, I guess basically screw NYG too, I guess, kind of, not really, but I mean, we're just there to have fun.
No hat rule. No hat rule.
Yeah, so I guess you guys probably saw that on the injury report. Jeers, if you want to pull that up, actually, that's wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
This looks horrible. This looks absolutely horrible. This is the up-to-date injury report. As you see, a whole lot of DNPs, which if you did not know, that means did not practice. Let's just go down the list here. Huge names: Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Dallas Goedert, D-Jax. I mean, we weren't going to use him anyway. Alshon Jeffries personally, he said, screw this. Jerome Malata, concussion probably from Jalen Smith, but he's probably saying screw this too. Duke Riley, one of our best linebackers, did not practice. Miles Sanders, best part of our run game, did not practice. But to top it all off, some great news. Michael Jacquet, limited practice. He's questionable. And then the best news of all, Quez Watkins. He's a full practice. He's going to suit up on Sunday. So yeah, it's not even an injury report. This is just who doesn't really give a shit report. You know,
In a meaningless game. I guarantee you, like I said before the show started, like we definitely have at least 4 or 5 of those guys on that list that could play if they really wanted to. They probably went. They probably went on the back end, talked to coach, or either that or the coach talked to them and said, "Hey, we're not going to risk you. This game doesn't matter. Like we're looking ahead."
Mhm.
But
Right.
then they talk about like this no hat rule. They treat every game the same, and I'm like, "What are you doing to us? Like, what's this game going to look like?"
Yeah, nah. It's.
Are we going to
I'm-
let them wear WFT NOC's champion hats in our stadium?
It wouldn't be the first time that we let them do that. But at least back then we were still like in the playoff race a little bit.
Yeah,
Kind
of relevant.
But nonetheless, I think that was probably a mutual thing. I mean, for players to not play between players and coaches and Doug Peterson, whoever it is. I mean, we talked about it in our group chat earlier. Like Jordan Mailata, dual threat. You said you should probably get more reps, which I agree. You know, everyone could use their reps every now and again, but
Yeah.
in a game like this, I don't know. I think it's an MCL and ACL is very. I guess it's a lot easier to tear than we think, and I would just hate to lose Jordan Mailata for a full year, meaning we wouldn't even have him next year, just so we could screw over Dallas or New York. You know, whoever we want to screw over.
Yeah, but this is this would be a great learning experience for him, going against a great D line in Washington and not getting Jalen Hurts killed and risking him by putting him behind an even worse O line than what we were already operating with. So it's like 50-50. Would you rather like kill your backup or your starter right now that kind of is your second round pick, who's probably going to be your future, because I doubt you can fix it. What's wrong with Carson Wentz? Because I think what's wrong with Carson Wentz is Philadelphia, but that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
Thing. But I mean, like, not to sound like kind of cold, but we have Dillard. So if he did get hurt, it's not the hugest loss, you know?
Right.
As in, if Hurts gets hurt behind a duct tape line, it kind of puts us in a position where we've just kind of pissed off Carson for like 5 weeks for what?
True. That's a fair point. I mean, with that point, could we argue maybe we should? I mean, I don't even think if he's healthy or if he's a scratch or IR, but should we play Nate Sudfeld and just let him
100%
do whatever he wants and just save Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz for this QB battle? I mean, is Nate around? Is he on the sideline?
Yeah, he's on the sideline. He's just been healthy scratches.
True.
Speaking on that topic, on the Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts topic, Doug Peterson said that he has no thought at all that he might not be coaching in Philly next year.
That's good for him.
And
He said that's.
I
good
mean,
for him.
it might sound pretty optimistic, dual threat, but what I'm thinking is, I mean, do you think they're going to stick around with him because of his leadership and like kind of make him grab a little bit of a different personnel under him, like an OC? And
no, he's going to ride that Super Bowl for as long as he can. Like, it really does not matter until basically it just completely implodes, where everybody in the locker room hates him. Because we roll with Andy, which we should have, but we just roll with Andy even through the years, because Andy's good. He's a good coach, and kind of like personnel issues, which you can kind of say with this team, but at the same time you can also say he doesn't really adjust come halftime. His play calling has gotten a little bit vanilla over the years. So it's like, do you keep him? Do you go with him? And right now he has that good old Super Bowl juice. Where he's not getting canned anytime soon.
How do you feel, Jesse?
I agree, pretty much in a sense. So the thing is with Doug is I think we are riding the Super Bowl high. I think maybe a little bit too much, but he's a very weird situation because throughout the whole season we're watching this team, and or even for last year, we still think Doug is manageable. We think he can lead us to a victory. I mean, obviously he has before with a great team from 2017, and he led us to victory with a dumpster truck full of nobodies and Carson Wentz last year to get to the NFC East. I mean, here's the thing about Doug is, except for this year, every year he's been, I guess in 2016 too, but every year he's been coach, we've made the playoffs. At least his 3 out of 5, I guess. But
Chip
and one
Kelly
was
did the same thing.
yeah, right.
He
But
got
it's
banned.
yeah. So it is something where we maybe we should slow down on because it did just happen. But I think with what he's working with, I think Doug's doing an all right job. I think it's very, very obvious he needs help on the offensive play calling. But I don't see that as an issue because even Andy Reid has a offensive coordinator. Even Bill Belichick has an offensive coordinator. I think that's just he shouldn't put all the pressure on himself. I guess is what I'm getting at is to call the play is call the perfect play.
Mhm.
And even with Carson Wentz, he goes in, he'll change the play, kill, and then that makes Doug look bad. That makes him look like he doesn't have control over his team. But with that, I'll use that to transition to this is if Doug is still around next year, he says that he would like to roll with Carson Wentz again. He says he wants to run it back, try it again, and if it doesn't work out, then you're right. Maybe Philly's just not the place for him. Maybe it's just time to move on. But
I think that would be a mistake doing it that way.
To keep Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that late into the season, like to start the season, I think that's a mistake. I think right now Carson is at a certain point where he still has a high trade value, and you might be able to get him to renegotiate his contract to where you can actually ship him out without like killing your cap for the next 2 years.
Okay.
But if you wait until the season, the cap hits there, you're not really going to be able to get rid of it if you try to trade him. And then is Carson going to be even willing? And is his value even going to be there? You know what I mean? Like if Carson shows up next year looking like mid-season Carson this year, that's his trade value is what? A Jameis Winston?
Yeah, like $1 million contract to ride the bench, maybe. But G Rich, what do you think, bro?
I think that we're pretty split. I mean, not him and I, but I think the fan base is pretty split right now. I mean, you'll see it's about like 50% want Carson wants to come back. They think that coaching and play calling was the big issue, that they say can press Taylor and get some offense coordinator help for Doug and give him full play calling duties. And they think that can be a big difference. Or get another QB coach, of course, if you can press Taylor. Get someone to kind of help voice to Carson Wentz.
What's Flip doing nowadays?
I mean, I can see Carson with a little more help possibly getting back on track, but there is a risk there that dual threat touched on the other side. But I'm over here pulling a Jesse, pointing in the opposite way.
You just gotta guess, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, dual threat does have a good point. It does. I mean, it comes with risk, and with that risk, it probably won't just be Carson. There'll probably be multiple fires if it goes that route.
Yeah.
But.
Right. And my take on it is it's like we're paying the guy $20 million next year. I say if we're gonna take that hit, I say we might as well take the hit and let him see what he has left. It's I don't want to. I get it because we could possibly trade for some capital in the draft, but I don't think anyone's really gonna take it on. Like the Colts could maybe take it on because they're already paying, not Teddy Bridgewater, but Phillip Rivers and
Jacoby.
Jacoby Brissett
Don't
already.
they end this year? Huh? I think their contracts end this year.
Yeah, right. And so they're actually paying them right now essentially double what Carson Wentz would be getting paid next year. So it's not, it wouldn't be a horrible idea for the Colts to do that, but I personally think if we're going to pay a guy that much money, we might as well see one more time, because I have such a hard time giving up on Carson Wentz after one bad year. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's going at least 20 touchdowns for 7 interceptions every other year. Like, what? So he goes 15 for 15. I just got to give up like that? Nah, it's still like McNabb had his bad years. We ran him out of town. I mean, I would go through other quarterbacks I've seen, but most of them were pretty bad, like Sam Bradford, Mark Sanchez. So I would run him out of town too. But look, Carson Wentz is probably one of the best quarterbacks we've had in years. It's hard to say that this year because of what we've seen, but it's true. He has the franchise records to prove it. I don't know. It's very hard for me to give up on him. And JDO515 actually made a good point. Michael Vick, when he was on the Eagles, that's probably the last great quarterback I actually remember watching for the Birds. But yeah, so I don't know. But let's dive more into this Washington thing. I mean, I would talk about the matchups, but I think it's pretty obvious that these matchups are non-existent for us anyway, because it's like, gee,
Quez is the GOAT.
Quez is playing. We got him. He's going to be great.
I'm excited to see him, but I don't know if with the rest of the injury report that we just reviewed a little bit ago, I don't know how that would fare.
I think it's just
not a quick game.
It's just us guessing who's even going to play and who do we even have as a threat on our side.
Boston Scott season. I mean,
yeah, there we go. So Boston Scott. Travis Fulgham will be there. He'll get plenty of snaps. Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey aren't playing.
No, I thought Alshon was playing.
I thought they said he was
out.
did not practice. I think.
I'll back up real quick.
Yeah, their personal did not practice.
Personal. He's not injured. He's just
he's not listed on injury report. Not
listed, but if I had to guess, he's probably not. He's probably not playing. But so yeah, there we go. I guess Travis Fulgham, because Watkins might get some potential snaps, maybe some
Hightower,
some scouting report, see who we want to keep next year. This feels like a preseason game. It's hard talking about it straight up. You're like, oh geez, what third stringers do we sign after this game? But I guess so. What we could talk about is Jalen Hurts against a Washington defense who is top ranked in the league and playing without his offensive line, who's already kind of a turnstile most of the game anyway. Do you think Jalen Hurts will have a okay game at least?
Dual threat?
He will. I don't know. It's going to be weird to just thinking about it, because who's he going to have protecting him, really? And he doesn't. And now his run game is going to take a massive hit too, because Miles isn't there. So what was him being half the run game is now about to be him being 75% of the run game. So,
all right,
it's going to be tough for the offense and Hurts himself.
G-Rich?
I think stepping in there, I think the game plan should be obviously a pretty quick game. Screens, short passes, or probably zone read options, because we have Hurts. But I think this game's really important for Hurts to show that he has pocket awareness and doesn't escape when he's not supposed to, like last game. Kind of showed some development in that. I know he's just a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see. I mean, it's already going to be rough not having Miles. That's for sure too. So I mean, the run game's not really going to be something they can lean on.
Yeah.
So that's usually one of the fixes that they resort to with the Eagles O line is running the ball, because just use all your strength on that. You don't have to worry about missing so many blocks, sitting back on your feet, and we're usually a pretty run heavy team. I mean, you would like to think, but
Yeah.
well, we're not run heavy, but we're better runners and probably should run more often.
I wish we were run heavy. That'd be great. It'd be so great. We're just complete opposite.
We're a run heavy team that passes a lot for some reason.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way. That's a good way to explain it right there. What I was saying. We're a run heavy team, but we like to pass the ball for some odd reason. So like verbatim.
It just sounds like a balanced. It sounds like a balanced offense. For a pass heavy team that likes to, we're a run heavy team that likes to pass the ball.
Except negative.
That sounds like a perfectly balanced offense.
But I've never seen a team that's been so successful with the run. Like yards per carry. I mean, Miles would get the ball 15 times and almost have 80 to 100 yards rushing, like almost every time. And it's like, why would you not feed that? Why would you not feed that? Like, and want him to actually like excel? I mean, the reports came out about fatigue, but
yeah, that could probably be attested to all the audibles that are called, or who knows? Who knows? It's a big mystery, this team, and I don't think the three of us will ever be able to figure it out. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what Jalen does. I'd be interested to see if Jalen even plays the whole game. I mean, I'm not to say that Carson Wentz will step on the field, but like I mentioned earlier, maybe they'll just pull the plug on the season and just say, "Hey, Nate Sudfeld, have fun, man. Go out there, try not to die real quick, because we still need you to be our third stringer." But I want to talk about more matchups, but it's so hard to talk about more matchups. It's so
Terry McLaurin versus Darius Slay. How y'all feel?
There we go. there's another one. Wait, is Darius Slay playing?
Is he? Is he not?
There's so many names on this list. There's so many names on this list. I don't even know.
he is not on the list.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so we might. Okay, so there we go. So that's until you pointed it out. I was really worried about.
Well, the last time we played Washington, Slay did exceptionally well against Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
With Lauren,
Oh, yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he stuck to his average on the season, where it was like 5 catches allowed, and then like 50 yards like given up, which is pretty acceptable for that. But that dual threat is a good point. Terry McLaurin versus Darius Slay, I think that'll probably be a pretty good dogfight for the majority of the game.
What's up, JD?
What up, JD, bro? How you doing? But yeah. So I think that would probably be a dogfight, but it's for this game. Maybe that dogfight will last a half, and they'll just be like, Darius Slay, please don't break anything. Come on out. Which I'm not even really against that either. That would be totally acceptable for me. But I guess see Darius Slay actually giving Terry a tough time, like he did last time. How about you guys?
well, I'd like to say one matchup we're not really talking about is who's the Washington football team's quarterback.
That's a good point.
There we go. Yeah.
Remember the week we looked like a dumpster fire against Dallas the first time we played them, but Ben DiNucci decided to keep us in that game. So I mean,
right, that might have been the only reason we won that game too, is with the lackluster Dallas offense. But yeah, so we could definitely talk about actually who is the quarterback. Because so last Sunday, or unless we talk about this part, I don't think so. But so this whole Dwayne Haskins thing. Partying with strippers. That seems fun. Partying with strippers during a pandemic. Probably not the best idea.
maskless.
Maskless. Both. I mean, either way, you're not even social distancing at that point. Like I don't think the mask is going to do much for you. But so Dwayne Haskins, we did not see much punishment for that. I don't think that they are going to do anything. But so also, wait, what am I talking about? He got cut from the team.
I was
He
gonna
was released.
say.
And I'm sorry for that long build up for my brain to realize. He's totally off the team. And we don't even know if Alex Smith is going to be back and ready. So we're going to look at a possible battle of the backups for Week 17 and for the NFC East, which seems very fitting for some reason. So do you guys think Alex Smith will play this week? And if he does, what's the outcome?
A Washington football team victory.
Regardless.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah, pretty much. I have zero faith in this team anymore. I
He
expect
Oh,
said the backup's gonna come in and he's gonna torch our backups.
Imagine the second half offense looks completely different. We look revitalized. We look like an actual NFL team against one of the best defenses in the league.
Come out,
Just
we
show
win like 41-14.
Right. On a defense
Go
that's
off
only
for
allowed
absolutely
21.
no reason.
Right. Oh gosh. But G-Rich, what do you think? Do you think he's got the chance to play?
I did not pay too close attention to his injury report.
Fair.
All season, or not all season, all week. But if I had to guess, I mean, if he is healthy enough, they're gonna play him. I mean, that's their best shot. But
Right.
they throw like Dual Threat said, even their backup in will probably make him look like Joe Montana. But it's somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I think the biggest loss, and not to stem back to the Cowboys game, but I think our biggest loss on that back end was McLeod. And I think that really showed. McLeod's leadership on the back end with Jalen Mills, who has been playing pretty sound himself.
Right. And just missing those safeties right now. I mean, I thought he did a pretty decent job versus Arizona. But then Dallas, he kind of peed the bed a little bit there. But so it should be interesting. Yeah, but that's a good point. McLeod being out is definitely taking a huge toll on this team. And this defense this game is really hard to have confidence in with our defense and just all of our offensive players just being out. Sorry, my mom's down there.
Oh, you got some fans. You got some fans down there.
I'm surprised you guys heard that. She said it pretty loud. But yeah, she's outside. That's pretty funny. So it should be this match should be interesting. I mean, just so many missing pieces in the back. I mean, Alex Smith, if he does come back, you're right. That definitely is the best shot that they have. It's probably going to be their only shot because personally, I don't remember who the third stringer is for Washington. It's not RG3 is on the Ravens.
It's the dude Kyle Allen?
Yeah, he's gone too.
He's gone too?
No, it was an unknown name in our quarterback last week. I promise. Kyle Allen.
No way.
Yeah, go look it up. And in the meantime, I wanted to. We're nearing towards the end. I wanted to.
Oh, it's Tyler Hickney.
I wanted to go over
the former Penn State quarterback.
That's what it was. Yeah. Well, that should be interesting then. I think Alex will probably play. But yeah, moving on. What's up, G Rich?
I'm saying we got some soon to be free agents this off season, and since we don't have too much more to play for, what's your guys' thoughts on this? Who would you bring back?
Vinny.
And why?
Jalen Mills.
And why? Can I definitely say not Jason Peters?
Oh, 100%.
I think a lot of us are on that train. We're getting tired of him coming back. We appreciate everything he's done and everything he's helped us through. And the man is a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. But No.
All right. So a lot of these linebackers, God, Nate Jerry.
The
So,
GOAT
okay.
McGill.
So here's who off this list. This is honestly who I would keep. Shoot, I'm about to change my answer actually. So, I think Sudfeld actually for third string cheap deal would be pretty cool. Shit. I wanted to have more faith in Roby Coleman, but he did not show me enough this year for me to say he'd be worth signing again.
With
Even-
unlimited cap.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the cap that we're going to take, I don't know if his deal, unless he took some kind of discount. And no one wants a discount nowadays unless you're Tom Brady and you want to play with a good team.
Mm.
Gosh, going through this list, I agree with dual threat. I think Vinny Curry should definitely be signed again. I think he is a great. I want to say sixth man, but that's basketball terms. But he's definitely a great backup to have on that
Mhm.
D line, and he's always showing out whenever he's on the field. And I mean, he tried to do the whole starter thing in Tampa Bay, but didn't really quite work out. And then he came back, and now he's right back where he belongs, I think. And other than that, Duke Riley, I think, showed me enough to. That would be my second or third signing of this list. Other than that, I think they can all walk. I think we can find someone better than most of the people on this list.
Yeah.
So you guys are letting Mills walk?
I said Mills. The
You
man,
said
the myth,
Mills?
yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, the best safety in the league, the Green Goblin. Honestly, super underrated.
No, I was more kind of referring that
disrespectful.
towards Jesse. I didn't hear Mills come out of his mouth. One time.
I like Mills. I like him. But I don't think it would be the worst thing for us to move on from him. I look, he's a grinder. He's a hustler.
Mhm.
He's there to make some plays, wag his finger a couple times, and he'll call it a day. So yeah, let's pull this up actually. So we signed him this year to be a safety, and he ended up being literally everything else because this team is made of glass. But I usually, free safety, that's where he landed the most because I think that's a majority of that, even though it's 9 more snaps than being lined up at like a wide corner or anything like that. That's just because that was before we all got hurt and all that stuff. But so yes, Thomas Peterson makes a great point. This is something that should be respected, and he did show leadership, but I just don't know if he had the skill level necessarily of, say, a Malcolm Jenkins, who I think we obviously very desperately needed this year, and we miss. I'm sure he's having fun over there in New Orleans. I don't know how you guys feel about Malcolm, but I don't know if Jalen is really quite the replacement for Malcolm, and I don't think Jalen will be. Of course, I don't think anyone will ever be that Brian Dawkins figure to us. I think Malcolm was the closest to that we had. How about you guys?
Yeah.
I think I agree with Mr. Nick a little bit with all the injuries that we have dealt with and the unavailability that we had to deal with. I think that's part of the reason why they love trying to keep Mills around.
True.
I think they do sign him. I don't think they're going to let him walk just because of the versatility that he has, and with our health on the back end, how it's been, his passion towards the city, the green hair. I mean, like,
right. And,
I mean,
look,
he kind of like symbolizes a little bit. I mean, and he has been progressing a little, which is a nice sign to see.
yeah.
So,
And now don't get me wrong. I like Jalen. Like I said, he's a hustler. He's a grinder. I think he was a part of the Super Bowl team. He's one of the last remaining members of that team.
Sadly.
And I respected the guy. I think he did pretty decent safety. He did a good job, but I think if we do keep him, hopefully he doesn't ask for too much, and we can get him with something like, "Hey, you want to help us out? And, maybe let us sign like a superstar, like another superstar, like safety, maybe, and then he can go back to playing corner because I don't know, but that's just my thing. I like him, but I wouldn't be upset if we didn't sign him again.
I also think that
That
Jalen has a little bit of a heart in Philly now. I mean, like, I think he's like kind of. I think he has what's the word I was looking for? A soft spot, like for Philly. I think he won his championship with us. I mean, the man dyes his hair and he lives and eats and sleeps and breathes green. Like, I mean, that's he's known. Like, he's like Duel said, the Green Goblin. I mean, he's made himself known to be wearing green. I mean, what would he'd be the Green Goblin in like blue? Like, I just don't see him going to another team if there is interest, which I think there is with both parties. So I think they'll make something work.
Right.
True. Well, all right, we'll see. At least we all like him. I think I think we definitely all agree with it. That it would be good to have him back, but I guess I'm the outcast in that combo where it is what it is. But all right, so I guess we're heading towards the end of the show. Unfortunately, we had a pretty good podcast, but before we do, I would love to get you guys' predictions just in case we can't necessarily podcast on Sunday morning, but final score predictions. Hopefully one of us is a win.
28-17, Washington football team.
All right.
28-17. I have probably 24-21. I'll probably put it a little closer because maybe. Can I give two? Like 20, I would say 24-14 or 24-21, depending if we can grab that third touchdown. But I think it's going to be like right around that range. I don't think we're going to let up too much, depending who the quarterback is, too, for Washington. That makes a difference.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll also give two here. I'll say Alex Smith does play, which he probably will. I would say that Washington will put up at least 27, and then if he doesn't play, I'll say the final score is 16-10, Washington football team. And then so I was hoping one of us would surprise us and see if we won, but no, I guess we all don't have faith.
No, I'll go ahead and I say if Alex Smith is playing, it's probably going to be like 34-20.
34-20. Yeah, it's
in my opinion.
I tried to be optimistic about my score, but I could see Alex Smith putting up 26 to 37 points, something like that, definitely. but Dulter, do you have a other score if Alex Smith doesn't play?
Alex Smith doesn't play. 28-24. Washington football team.
Okay, cool. All right.
I say we get into good field position a bit more with Alex.
True. All right. So we all think we're going to lose. We all think we're going to get that top 5 pick. Awesome. We'll see if we use that right. And then, So, guys, I had a wonderful time doing the first show of the year. I got to do it outside in paradise and in the Keys. So, having a good time. Hopefully you guys are having a good new year. And actually, I guess really quick, you got some New Year's resolutions?
I'll get back to you on that.
Back to you on that? All right, cool.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers. There we go. Hey,
Sixers.
That's my resolution.
You beat the Magic last night.
Oh, I loved it.
And
every
Ben Simmons
second of it.
3? Ben Simmons hit a 3-pointer? What?
What?
20,
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard couldn't affect Orlando. Dominates, bro. Oh, he also hit a 3-pointer too. I was having a good time watching. I think I had a friend in there who was not having a good time.
Game. I have to say, I guess it's not as much of a New Year's resolution, but I have to say my excitement for the Sixers. I want to see a few more. I want to start seeing the consistency, but it's looking like we've learned how to close out games.
Yeah.
So
far,
Sixers
so
winning
good.
the championship. Said it here first.
Damn right.
Dude, I will come back to this podcast if we win championship. You've heard it here.
Straight up. Well, alrighty, boys. Sounds like some good resolutions. Go Sixers. Trust the process. I'm pretty much looking forward to the same thing. As I'm hoping for Philly sports to fall on the Sixers, or hockey's coming back. If you guys are into that, the Flyers are
Carter
coming.
Hart.
Yeah, Carter Hart season. It's Joel Embiid season. Carter Hart season now. Eagles suck, unfortunately, but it's still go Birds. Anyway, boys, you guys have a wonderful night. Everyone, thanks so much for joining. Chat, thanks for joining us, guys. Please tune in next time. We'll see about Sunday. I think we're looking kind of rocky on that right now because of vacation schedule and work schedule and whatnot. But we'll let you guys know. Either way, we'll keep in touch. We got a long off season to talk about after this game, no matter what happens, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I'm Jesse. That's She Rich. That's Dual Threat. We're Eagles Plus. Have a good night, guys.